All right, Anthony on Air podcast. Obviously, special circumstances here Sunday morning, but we got breaking news. Ghislaine Maxwell placed on suicide watch. No real surprise, but maybe a little surprise. Obviously, with her sentencing coming up on Tuesday, all the principals involved, lawyers, Judge Allison Nathan, they're all obviously thinking the same thing. We've got to keep Ghislaine Maxwell alive until she's sentenced and moved out of her um, metropolitan detention center. That's obvious. But I mean, is there an underlying thing here? We don't know. Basically, this story broke overnight, Saturday night into Saturday night into Sunday morning. Placed on suicide watch. Um, Bobby Sternheim wrote in a letter to U.S. Circuit Judge Allison Nathan, which is why we even have this information to begin with. Obviously, her lawyers are doing whatever they can to push off sentencing. Bobby Sternheim wrote in this note to the court and obviously released it herself, quote, if Miss Maxwell remains on suicide watch, is prohibited from reviewing legal materials prior to sentencing, becomes sleep deprived, and is denied sufficient time to meet with or confer with her counsel, we will be formally moving on Monday for an adjournment. That is what Bobby Sternheim wrote and released early this morning. So obviously another tactic from her lawyers to try and delay this matter even farther. But you can tell from, again, Judge Allison Nathan, perhaps the people at the corrections facility, they're not taking any chances. We're heading into the last couple of days. I thought it was incredibly stupid that they put her back into Gen Pop to begin with. I thought that was insane, but they did. And now maybe, I don't know if they just think we rolled the dice and we got lucky and now let's not chance anything. But they're doing the right thing here. Put her on suicide watch. So she's going to get all the, typical things, paper clothes, all that, all her toothpaste, all her soap, everything taken away from her. You don't want to chance anything going into the final stretch here before she appears in court on Tuesday. And not only is going to be sentenced by Judge Allison Nathan, but obviously she's going to have to face her accusers once again, because as we talked about on the last Anthony on Air podcast, some of the victims are going to be allowed to speak in court prior to sentencing. They're not only going to be addressing Ghislaine Maxwell, but they're going to be addressing Judge Allison Nathan before she gets ready to hand down her judgment. So obviously very important. And I guess the big name, in that mix, obviously, is Virginia Roberts Giuffre, which the interesting wrinkle there is she wasn't involved in this case. She wasn't a witness. They didn't use her. Government didn't use her one bit. But she's going to come down and she's been granted the right to make a statement. So pretty interesting stuff there with Virginia Giuffre being in Manhattan on Tuesday in the court, and we'll be addressing Ghislaine, Judge Nathan, and everybody else who is present. But that's the breaking news. Smart move here. Put her on suicide watch. Make sure she's watched. Make sure nothing happens in the last 48 hours before she goes into court and gets sentenced. I said this to Frank when we were on our last podcast. If I'm running that prison, I'm putting her back on suicide watch. And here we are just a few days later, and that's exactly what they did. Because I don't want to be the warden responsible for, dropping the ball after the ball was dropped with Jeffrey Epstein just, 3 years ago. So that's not what I want to have happen on my watch. Pretty smart move, putting her on suicide watch here. Now, I will say this, and this is where it gets a little muddy, a little gray. In the statement, her lawyers, Bobby, basically saying she's not suicidal. She said a psychologist evaluated Maxwell and backed up the assessment that she is not suicidal. So do we get into an area where it's like, well, she's not suicidal and they're putting her on suicide watch? It's unfair. She can't meet with us. She can't read her papers. She can't review things. She can't confer. We're going for the adjournment. Will she have a little sliver of hope there? I doubt it, but I mean, you can see the argument. You're putting her on suicide watch when she is, by definition of a psychologist, not suicidal. Um, I don't know what the circumstances are there. Now, I think although they might have a technicality, a little technical argument there to kind of get out of this, I don't think they do, because I think all the parties interested know that this is a sensitive issue, extenuating circumstances, given what happened to Epstein, given what happened with a story that we read earlier in the week on the podcast of, you know, some inmate supposedly was given money to kill her and all this and that. You got to do what you got to do to kind of make sure she remains safe. Which again, I think the correction facility, the prosecutors will say, we're not, necessarily saying she's suicidal, but we're ensuring her safety, which I think all involved would appreciate. Ghislaine Maxwell, included in that list. Obviously, they're trying to keep her alive. I think they have an argument there from a legal standpoint to make this move that they have done. I don't have a ton of time, so a couple things, and I'll get to some comments coming in. So if you have questions or you want to say something read out loud, shout them out in the chat right now, in the live chat. Thanks for joining me on a Sunday morning. That's kind of cool. Last time we met like this, Jean-Luc Brunel was found dead in his cell. Again, another reason to keep her on suicide watch, keep her ass alive. Second, sentencing is on Tuesday. We'll have it for you here, obviously. If you enjoy the podcast, make sure you're subscribed. We do have memberships and a member area for $2.99 a month. You can support what we do here. That's much appreciated. Link in the description below. There's a link to join the membership area at anthonyonair.com. So go ahead and do that. Of course, we have a wonderful sponsor in Jumpstart Coffee Company. I am actually embarrassingly going to close up of me. Sorry. Drinking my Jumpstart right now. Sunday morning out in my backyard, just kind of enjoying the day when this came across my desk, and I thought we'd throw a little stream together. But anyway, Jumpstart is the absolute best coffee. Link in the description to buy a bag right there. 50% of their profits go to the Navy SEAL Foundation. So if you're a patriot, if you love America, freedom, all the stuff that the Navy SEALs and the rest of our armed forces provide, grab a bag of Jumpstart Coffee Company right now. You won't regret it. It'll be a wonderful cup of coffee for you. You'll get hooked. And again, you'll be supporting this podcast and the Navy SEAL Foundation, which helps Navy SEALs, obviously, as they transition back into their normal lives. So make sure you support that if you can. A lot of people saying she's going to end up like Epstein. That coming in from Patricia. I think they're doing their best. I have faith in this. I like this move. They're doing their best to keep her alive while they can. Nancy, do these people really commit suicide, or is it faked? Then they are released with a new identity and under protection. Don't squeal on the sexual predators. Great comment, Nancy. Obviously, I don't have a ton of time to get into speculation. A lot of people think that Epstein is still alive. I don't know. If you saw those pictures of him on the gurney, he looked pretty dead to me. But obviously, I am not ignorant to the fact that, you have Epstein gone, Jean-Luc Brunel gone, strange coincidences. If you want to throw McAfee into that mix, obviously there's a lot of bizarreness. If you want to throw the Blintons list into that list, it gets even stranger. And, the overwhelming fact that there is a client list out there. There's obviously much more information out there that has not been released to anybody. And why hasn't that happened yet? So again, Nancy, great comment. I think people are being, quote unquote, oh, they're dead, and then they're sneaking them out the back door? Not overly. But also at the same time, like I said, I'm not ignorant to the fact that a lot of shenanigans have gone on. And again, there's a list sitting somewhere with a lot of names on it that nobody has been able to get access to or see. And that certainly is not fair or right. So highlight your comment, deserved. Something's going on, but, is it that exactly? I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to wait and see. I do, I do hold out some hope. I do think that there's a lot of circumstances where. No, I'm okay. I got it. There's a lot of circumstances where, you know, I think that eventually all that stuff will come out. Obviously we all want it right now, right? Like that's obviously the thing. Like, where is it? We should have got it, 3 years ago. I think it'll come one day. That's my hope. That is my hope. I think it'll come one day. Again, do I wish we had it right now? Yep. But do I think that we're gonna get there one day? We'll see. Bruce Wayne, wow, nice to have you here. Thanks for taking the time away from saving Gotham to comment on our live stream. I'm surprised she's still alive. I am too. I have to be honest with you. When they put her back into Gen Pop, I thought that was the dumbest thing that they could have possibly done. And I really thought that they were flying too close to the sun there. I thought, why, keep her in solitary, or, like we've talked about before, when cops get arrested and get put in these prisons, these jails, etc., they are put into special areas with, added protection. You can still find a common ground where you can give her freedoms or liberties, whatever, in jail. Still give her time out and all that jazz, and also keep her away from everybody else. There had to be some sort of a middle ground you could find there. Had to be. And they opted for, well, we'll just put her in Gen Pop. That made me uncomfortable. You're just exposing her to a bunch of people that, A, could be bought by outside influences to do something bad to her, or B, could just want to do something bad to her out of the humble brag of, like, I was the one who, killed Ghislaine Maxwell. Could have been, anybody who just wants to kill a pedophile. I mean, who doesn't want to kill a pedophile? Now you have criminals in there that have killed people before going, oh, I've killed before, I'll just kill this pedophile, when not being part of any sort of grand conspiratorial thing. And they chose to just put her out there. And I thought that was crazy. Honestly, it did. So, Bruce, I'm with you. I too am surprised that she is still alive. I'm really, really surprised. I am also surprised that she hasn't snitched yet. I am. Again, Epstein's gone. Jean-Luc Brunel, gone. Who are we protecting here? Who are we protecting? Trump, Clinton, obviously all these people. You got two former presidents wrapped up in this that knew them very well. We talked about a couple of weekends ago, Ghislaine and Epstein were trending on social media, and there was that reporter who basically said, go down the list: Bill Gates, Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, all these people that were around these two for extended periods of time. They knew what they were doing. If they didn't do some bad things themselves, they knew what they were doing. And this reporter, forgive me, I forget his name, Brian something. He was basically saying, he couldn't reveal everything that he knew because he was protecting victims. He was protecting victims. And that, is respectable. Like, obviously, you want to put out all the information that you can, right? You want to do that. But at the same time, there are victims here to think about. And so whatever he found from his investigations, he's chosen to keep private. And that's understandable. But basically, the reason for him sending out all those tweets and the reason why they got trending again was there's obviously a lot more here. But if you've heard some of the names that I just mentioned, the point is if they didn't partake or do the horrible things themselves, they condoned it because they knew it was happening. Because there was no way you could be around these two and not know what they were doing, not know that there was some bad shit abound. So, there is that to keep in mind. Brian's one of my favorites of all time. That was my air conditioner that just went on. I apologize. We've been talking about doing some like outdoorsy live streams and stuff. And I love sitting in my backyard, and so I've been thinking about like Friday nights maybe doing the stream from out here. And now I realize we got to make sure that the air conditioner doesn't go on in the middle of the live stream because that was friggin' loud. Um, the Urban Homestead, the person on the gurney uh, eerily compares to Anthony Bourdain. I just watched Roadrunner on HBO Max. It's the documentary they made about Anthony Bourdain. That was some sad ass shit. That was some really, really sad shit. Watching him basically spiral into crazy depression was really, really sad. I love Anthony Bourdain. If you like Anthony Bourdain, you should watch it. If you're into the Epstein Maxwell stuff, you might find it of interest too, because the last girlfriend that Anthony Bourdain had was this girl, Asia, I forget her last name, Argentina, whatever the hell her name was. And she was assaulted by Weinstein. And he went on a diatribe. If you remember, in the last couple of months of his life, he was really rallying against Weinstein. And then I don't know what happened exactly, but she wound up leaving him for somebody else, and he was devastated, couldn't handle it. He winds up taking his life in France. It was very, very sad, but yeah, that's that. Yes, I do have the West Hampton Beach Airport right by my home, so that's the airplane that you're hearing. All right, listen, obviously a lot of kinks to work out in the outdoor thing. I tried to set up all my normal, gear here. I had all kinds of stuff going on. Apologize for the close-up again. My little lavs, my handhelds, nothing was working, so I thought, fuck it, we're just going to go live. All right, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I do have to run. Obviously, we're going to do something special tomorrow night, too. It's not going to be the typical podcast, so look out to the channel for that. Look out for some members-only stuff coming up in the next couple of days. Again, join the members area, link in the description below. Grab your Jumpstart with the link in the description. All this information is up on the homepage of anthonyonair.com. That's anthonyonair.com. Appreciate you guys joining me on a Sunday morning. Make sure you share this. Let's get this out there. Let's hit the share button right now, whether you're watching on Facebook, on Twitch, a lot of people on YouTube. Hit the share button, spread it around. Ghislaine Maxwell on suicide watch. Things are going to get interesting in the next 48 hours. We head to her sentencing on Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. There you go. Christina took the words right out of my mouth. I will see you guys soon.